Hi, Stephen. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you, Laura?
I'm well, thank you. It looks like we're waiting for some folks to join. I'm gonna hop into GitHub. Um, we started tracking work in the project for the proof of concept team. I don't know if you are here. I think you're here as a lurker, right?
Correct.
Okay. We do have a bunch of issues in the project space, and I need to start assigning them to people, but I need people to show up to the meeting for us to do that. I'm wondering if I'm getting some end of year or start to be end of year slowness, but we'll find out.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, last week I was on PTO, and the week before that I was at SC.
Hey, Boris, how are you this morning?
Hello.
Steven and I were just talking about the tasks in GitHub and how we want to assign them out, but Steven's a lurker, so we need workers, not lurkers. Not that we don't want lurkers, we want lurkers too. We want everything, but need to kind of give it another couple minutes. I think. I do know that some of the tasks are happening. What I don't know is, so we probably just need to go through those, or I need to schedule a different time to see if we can get other people to attend this, or find a different time. Do you guys know if this is or isn't a bad time for folks?
I don't know.
No idea.
Okay. Maybe I'll reach out to Marissa directly and the other folks that have been coming and see if I can get a little more commitment time-wise. But I'll give it a couple more minutes and see if we get some more folks. If we don't get folks by 9:40 PST, I'll kill the call for today. And we'll try again next week. Hi, Drew. Hi, Drew. How are you today?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you.
Good. I was just chatting with Stephen and Boris. We were taking a look at the issues on the LPI project GitHub repository. I wasn't sure if you had permissions there. Do you have permissions to our GitHub repository?
I think sometime back I did check, but
Okay.
I don't know if I have right permissions.
Okay, because we need to start assigning issues to people, and I also need to assign or invite people to the repository if they don't have repository rights. So can you do me a favor and log in and see if you can take an issue and assign it to yourself?
Let me see.
Sorry for jumping right in. It's just we have a decent amount of work slated in here, and it's probably time for us to start.
Yeah, no issues.
Getting it assigned.
Yeah.
Like
issues.
here.
Did you need it?
And I don't know if there are issues in here that you would want to own. If there are, I can assign them to you so you don't have to go through the hassle.
I'm just going to try on the first one. because we are
Marvel.
just trying to see if I can do that. But so the one that I'm seeing right now is Marvel DPU needed, that issue.
Uh-huh.
And I don't see any button where I can say, give it to me or something like that.
All right,
And
I'll
under
assign it to
assign-
you right now. Let's see if I see you in here, Drew. There you are. So I'll assign it to you.
Let me refresh.
Come on. Drew. Okay, that's correct. It did assign. No, there we go. Okay. So it did assign to you. Oh,
Got
oops.
it. Yes, I can see it.
Sorry, did I share my screen? I did not.
But I see the changes on my screen that it has
Great.
been assigned.
Can you add a comment in there? Are you able to do that?
Yeah. I think maybe, yeah, I can.
Let me know if you can't, and then I'll see if I need to re-invite you at a different level of permissions.
Yep,
Great. Yay.
yep, I can. So I guess I should be able to, yeah, do pull
Perfect.
requests also.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right. So I think we probably need to sync a little bit with Mersha, but should we look in here and see if there's any activities that the rest of us could or could own? I'm actually going to go into the specific project. Oh, and I even got an email from you. All right, so we've got Mersha on three issues. We've got you, Drew, on one of them, and Paul owns an issue. What's the status? So that's done. In-house hardware, in-house pending, hardware pending. Boris, do you own any of these?
I don't see any. I'm reading through the list.
I wonder if I can assign Stephen, or sorry, Dan Daly to this. Yeah, I'm gonna assign Dan Daly to this and see what happens.
It got assigned.
Yeah. If any of you see any other issues that you should own, like pick and install hypervisor, create one VM, creating virtual servers, I think these are all Mersha activities.
You can assign number 9 to me,
Is that Mersha?
Boris.
Oh, it's Boris, sorry. Oh yeah, there's only 4 of us. Look at you, GLM CHB. All right, whoops. That I don't like. Okay. There we go. All right. Anything else that anybody sees that they should own? Okay. I'm gonna stop my share because I know that you guys can all log in there. We probably need to start talking about actual POCs, even though we're sort of at a place where we also need to do the physical development work and the physical install work. And I realize that the two, one is obviously dependent on the other, but I know that the baseline proof of concept that F5 has done is probably going to work out nicely in this space. Oh, hey, Marsha, how's it going? Thanks for joining.
Good morning. I have a comment. This meeting conflicts with the Dash community meeting, so
Do you,
I
so the time of day doesn't work for you. What time of day do you? I'm sorry.
half an hour later, or
Yeah, I can move it a half hour later.
sorry guys for this.
That's totally fine. It's absolutely fine. It's I want to make sure that the meeting works for everybody, and the only way to find out is for you to tell me. So, and you're important to this meeting, Marsha. So the first order of business is I need to move it a half hour later. All right, let's go. Marcia, there's a whole bunch of activities that we put in the OPI Dev POC lab environment list. And we need to assign them. And I don't know which ones go to you and which ones should go to other folks. Do you want to go in here on your own and assign these to yourself, or would you like for me to assign them to you?
I'll go through them myself and assign them.
Okay, and do you want to let me know if you have any issues with permissions on them?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay. I do know that you're the one person who's got visibility into these activities, like the install of the PDU, the management server shipping.
Yeah, so the PDU it's installed, that's done.
Oh, it is great.
It's up and running.
Look at you.
Serial, it's up and running. We
Okay.
try to connect to KVM. It's supposed to be up and running, but I'm not able to connect to it, so I'm debugging with HE what's happening there.
Wait, hold on. Where's the serial cable activity?
I don't know. There is none, but there is an activity for that.
Okay.
So currently, I can use an IP, user and password, and I can connect into the lab to the first device, let's call it, that came up. So we have power, we have everything. I see 100 gig cables got ordered.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, need to be ordered, but I see it's done.
Yeah,
Do we have a estimate on the arrival?
I will ask.
Okay, because also the power cable for the 100 gig switch were not compatible with the lab, whatever. So I ordered from Amazon with overnight shipping. It was free anyway. So they're arriving this morning. So today we should have everything powered on, up and running, not configured, but at least everything should be done.
It's 5-day shipping, so and he put this in last week, so the cable should be arriving at some point in time this week.
Okay, let me contact an HE and add them a task to install the cables.
Okay. I'd like to see track activities. So you just jumped through about 6 here.
I know, this is why, let me know how to pace them, so because let's keep going.
Right.
Install 100 gig cables, that's and just so everybody knows, every task we give to HEs, they charge us like $75, $150. Is like they have a price list. I put it in the lab confidential Slack channel, but they have like a price list. Every lab operation, it's.
That's okay.
I think so far, to install the lab, we spent about $1,000, less than $1,000 for all the tasks. More like 500.
Okay, that's fine. If you seem to be tracking the money, so we probably need to review the budget.
Yeah, we still have 40, but anyway, let's finish with the task because I'll have a few more items on based on the purchase list.
Yeah, I think do we want we may want to in addition to hardware order. So we probably need to know the ticketing items and like what's the cost of each ticket.
Yeah, and I have those. I mean, for the lab stuff, it's like installing a server is $75. And I mean, those are small.
Yeah, I know. It's just if somebody
Sure.
asks at some point, then we have that information.
It is on the Slack channel, like I said, in the lab confidential. And then also if you have access to a HE page, you see there's a price list. So
Can you send links to all of that? That needs to, it'd be nice to.
I don't think that's public information. So it's the contract negotiated. So this is why it's in lab confidential. And this is another question which I have today, and I'll raise it in the TSC tomorrow as well.
Okay.
It's where do I put all the information that people should not see, but you know, in case, let's say tomorrow I don't want to work on API anymore. I mean, I don't want to leave the things only Mircea knows. So I need a place where to put confidential stuff. And second is who will have access to the lab and to that confidential information. So I need a reduced list of people and the place where to dump all the, like this, like the price list. Yeah, it's, and all the POs and numbers and root password to get in the lab and so on. I mean,
So all the credentials, all the passwords to everything, including GitHub, including Slack, including Zoom meetings. Linux Foundation is managing through 1Password. So we should store all the credentials and the passwords to everything, all the DPU, IPU devices, servers, lab, VPNs, whatever we have, we should store in the vault that we're managing for the Linux Foundation API.
okay, for password, I'll talk then with Sridhar to get access to this 1Password.
Yeah, we'll get it to you, no problem. For the rest
Yeah,
of the stuff, I don't know.
Sridhar said that he was going to create a separate vault for the lab password stuff.
Excellent.
So we need to ping Sridhar about separate vault.
Yeah, because maybe I have access to the lab, but maybe I shouldn't have access to the GitHub admin password. Then yeah, makes sense to have a different one.
Yeah, I pinged Sridhar about it last night,
Oh, you did?
and he responded overnight saying that he was going to do it.
Let me add Sridhar to this one.
So do we have an actual paid Slack instance now?
And-
No.
Nope.
Okay. I see we're in free trial mode. Okay.
Yeah.
Not in the
Perfect.
budget.
Yeah. I didn't think it was, but all of a sudden it changed and it looked like we had things enabled in Slack. But I just noticed that somebody must have hit the free trial button.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't be storing any content in there. Boris was sort of pointing that out a couple of weeks ago, and I'm now the more that I'm working in GitHub on this stuff, that it's probably better that we don't, and just keep it in here or in the OPI project itself if we can. But it seems like this is the GitHub repository is a decent place to store all of our content that's mostly private. That's not completely private. The private stuff, obviously, there needs to be a different space for that. But I think that that's what we were just talking about. How are we handling all of our private information? All right, so Drew, do you need help with getting a Marvell DPU for the crew, and any thoughts there?
Yeah, I'm right now in the process of like trying to get the Marvel DPU up and running when it is connected to an ARM host. And I think to get the DPU itself, we probably will have to talk to Marvel. I don't know. I mean, I got it from Mark. He's not in the meeting today, so.
Oh, you got it from Mark Munier? You got
Yes.
a Cavium 10 at CN 1026?
Yes.
You got, okay. So I'll take you off of this activity then. If you can't get one, I'll try and find one.
Yeah, I'm
No,
doing that.
I
other
can brute force this a bit. I mean, I can put a PO with a certain price and we have budget left for this year. I can put a PO for one and
Well,
put
let's
the
see if we can
shipping
get one
address.
for free
I
first.
see. Okay.
And then we should talk about a PO. Actually, I'll add you to this, Marcia, just in case. Okay. I think we need to go to the TSC with some stuff tomorrow morning, probably, about stuff we need. So we need a CN 1026, and we also need this Intel server with Intel IPU.
I brought it up last time, and then Daly said he's going to look into that, and not
Yeah.
sure if there is any response.
We can go again this week, or I can show up tomorrow morning. And which I'm dying to do at 7 o'clock in the morning. I can go again tomorrow morning and see if we can get a little traction there. I'll back you up, and that way we'll be partnering with each other in that space. We'll remind everybody and get status on it. And then I can come back here with status. Okay. All right. What else? So you need a separate test server. So we probably don't know. Let's go from the top. We know, Marcia, we got to solve this lab access and credentials. You've got this assigned to you. Pick one of the three.
Yeah, that once I get the KVM up and running, hopefully today, I'm gonna start configuring the server.
All right. So get KVM up and running.
I think there was a separate task for hypervisor already.
Oh, was there?
No. This is a KVM unit that gives me access keyboard, mouse,
video, mouse. Got
remotely, and it's connected to the serial console where I have access already, but there is nothing coming over the serial. So
I don't think the serial is that important right now. I wouldn't prioritize it highly.
actually, the PDU, it's accessed via the serial, so I can configure the IP. It's like this. HE provides configuration of one device. So you create your rack and they configure for you one device. And you have to choose that one device. And from that one device, you have to configure your all other devices. So with serial, I can configure the power, I can consider the KVM, I can consider all the switches and so on. And once these are configured, then IP starts working and I can install operating systems and configure IP and so on. So actually serial, in my opinion, it's the most important because without it, I cannot do anything in the lab. And it's already working, so.
Okay.
All right. So get the KVM up and running. What else did you need that still hasn't happened to help in this space?
To connect the 100 gig cables and the management server. We are purchasing that. There is another server that it's in transit.
Right.
A bunch of items that.
What do we don't we have captured that's out that's.
Yeah, we can go in order. So otherwise, I'm jumping around.
Yeah. What don't we have written down, Marcia, that needs to be captured still?
So install management. Separate 100 malware. I think it's all it's captures are small tasks like configure the network PDU, like I'm putting labels. So if somebody needs to reboot a device, it's not power off on port 3. You know, we are powering off server with NVIDIA card in it or something. So I'm labeling now the PDU. And here I'll write some documentation. So all this I need to document and write readmes, how to do certain things. And yeah, especially with power, people need to take care because you can power off actually the switch where you get the management IPs and you can take the whole lab down. So, but I mean, that functionality is there. I don't know, the lab gets virus, we get hacked, and then you just wanna shut it off.
Maybe we need 2 for redundancy, which are independent.
2 labs?
Not 2 labs, but 2 switches, not.
HE provide just one gate. I mean, we can ask them, probably they will charge us, but yes, probably it's possible.
I know that you had sent out at one point a view of the lab, Marcia, but do you have, because of the fact that we don't yet have our IP addressing scheme, our VLAN information, our MAC addressing?
We have it. It's so again in the lab confidential Slack channel, HE has allocated to us 32 public IPs.
Okay.
And this 32 public IP, and this is how we want to also design the lab. For now, I'm just going to assign each device a public IP.
Okay.
But maybe we wanna, and again, I'm gonna bring this in TSC tomorrow and make some proposal. Maybe we want to have one device that gets a public IP and then have all the lab behind private, so we can have only one entry point, let's call it, in the lab, and not have, 32 public IPs that different vulnerabilities, people can start hacking us. I mean,
Yeah, of
like I said,
course.
for now it's a lab, so I'll work to bring everything up, everything to be configured, everything to be accessible. And from there, we need to think about how we want to actually design it.
All right, so you want to put that in front of the TSC, or you don't feel like we can talk about it?
Yeah, I will bring it tomorrow, and I think we should put a task here. It's design a bit the networking of the lab. Like I said, HE provide that 32 public IPs. And even now, if I give you an IP, a user, and the password, you can connect and see at least, like I said, the first device in the labs that I brought up.
I would encourage not to expose any public IPs right now and not assign them yet until tomorrow we decide what the network topology. I believe we have to have the gateway in front of us. Maybe even think about some company's firewall to put. Otherwise, it's going to be a Wild West.
Still,
Do you want to be on this, Boris? I'm gonna add.
I'll still configure them. So I can bring everything up, install, like I said, operating systems and so on. I think for the next week, I may assign the IPs just to show it's working.
Right, but we don't necessarily build out an external.
But we don't want to keep it that way.
I'm
we
sorry,
need to-
Marcia.
We don't want to keep it that way. So I may assign them just to bring it up so we can have it all brought up and accessible.
Right.
Then put the check mark. Yeah, so all the devices have operating system, all the devices are installed and accessible and so on. But then we need to reshuffle things.
Oh, the networking cable should be there later today.
Perfect. And tomorrow in TSCI, decisions are nice, but I just want to bring the awareness so people can think about it. And maybe, we take another week so everybody come with proposals and then we make a decision maybe next week.
Okay, so we want to go into TSC tomorrow and discuss how we want to do network configuration.
To bring the issues, at least, to bring the, pros and cons. Look, if we have all public IPs, we have 32 assigned and so on. Now, if we exceed 32 devices, then we need more public IPs. It's not an option, yeah. I mean, sure, in absolute it can be, but then we say, no, it's not an option, so we need another design.
Do you have a visual of what you want to do? Or is this something that's just in your head? I think being able to put a visual
enough, there is a big diagram. I have a SVG diagram which has all the devices with all the IPs, all the connections, brands, models, everything it's in that SVG. We show the rack in the lab, positions and everything.
Okay.
And I think that's again in lab confidential Slack channel.
Yeah, let me make sure that I'm in that Slack channel. I'm in the team lab channel. Is that the same one?
No, it has confidential in the, because I don't want people start pinging those IPs and, like I said.
Yeah, I understand, but we need to put, if you're going to ask the TSC for something, we need to put something in front of them that they can see. right? So if we talk about it in words, people aren't going to be able to see what you're talking about. They're going to
Yeah, I will show the diagram, but maybe I will shift delete the IPs and few, I'll say.
you can put, X's in the space of the IPs where they need to be.
Yeah.
Right, but
I have the
Technically, we're-
diagram, that's the point.
well, technically, we're an open source team, so it's it shouldn't be that dangerous because it's a closed network in and of itself, and there isn't anything in it that's housing data, right?
No. I mean, at this moment, it's like I said, it's a lab. Most of the servers don't even have an OS installed on them.
Right, so I
Yeah,
don't
like-
think we need to actually be super worried about it from a security perspective at this point in time. In addition to the fact that everybody that we're working with could easily come into this meeting and find out anything that they wanted. But I'm just saying from an overhead perspective, you guys are totally welcome to disagree with me. I'm not right about everything, but I think, right now we're not doing something that needs to be quote unquote secure.
See, but you still don't know the IP, the user, and the password. So although I'm talking about it in the meeting, I still haven't shared those. So
Right.
you don't know them. And this is why I also need from TSC a list of people that will have access to the lab so I can share with them everything. And we need to find a way to share it. I mean, one password fine for passwords, but what everything else? So we need like a GitHub private account where only, I don't know, 3, 5, 6 people, whatever, have access to. And then I can upload their, price list and these purchase orders with the prices and everything.
Right.
Because in Slack, it has that 90-day thing there. I'm already lost a bunch of messages that I had from February and March.
Okay, so it sounds like we have some conversations about how we want to store content.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess my question is, why do we necessarily need to bring everything up in front of the TSC if we should sort of be solving some of these problems in here? But I'm also
okay, so who should have access to the lab? Then that's the first question, which is root of trust group.
Mhm. I think we should probably be defining that in here, right? But I mean, maybe, the point of having a group that does this, right, is that we make those definitions and then we bring them back to the community and say, look, some of this is immediately accessible and some of it's not.
Okay, so I propose, I make the assumptions that, for example, Boris will need to have access because I see you, Boris, doing a lot of work. So let's say
Right.
I'll share with you the user and the password and so on. So who else? We can
I would
say
say
one
anybody
person
that's
from
doing-
each company.
Well,
Anybody that's-
we have
anybody in
the
team that
lab
is doing lab
confidential.
work or configuration.
We have the lab confidential Slack channel that has a list of people in it. I would say our first pass would be that list.
Yeah, okay, perfect. That's a good start. So we'll have to create probably like, let's say a GitHub, a private GitHub repo under OPI, where only these people can see it and contribute to it. And I'll start putting everything in there, like I said.
Well, isn't that the point of this group, the proof of concept group?
And now, proof of concept, I'll make a proof of concept of IPsec working on Mount Evans. Let's say, point of this group, yeah. Lab, I feel like we are taking the lab work as well, but it's not one and only objective of this group.
Right. And one of the important things and one of the important distinctions is that some of this confidential information really truly does need to remain confidential, especially around contracts. And quotes and contracts and stuff like that, which we do not want. We want that to be as small a group as possible.
So if you've already defined who should be in the confidential lab channel, the Slack channel for the lab, then it sounds like you do have that group of people defined.
I would suggest
okay.
that that's a first pass. We can certainly, refine based on that. But they should be in sync. Whoever we have in this lab confidential Slack channel should match what we do here.
Okay, and who owns that Slack channel? I mean, I don't need to have access to it. I'm just trying to kind of project manage everybody. And it seems like there's a lot of stuff in living in a lot of different places. And only certain people can see it, which is fine and appropriate, but we also need to have a sort of a view of what we do and don't, we are and are not building, so that when we are doing proof of concept, or when we're talking about proof of concept, we at least understand the layout of things and have a general vision of the layout, so that everybody knows.
Yeah. So I will make public under the POC group the diagram with the device, is a brand of device, everything. But then the root password for that, let's say, or the PO that was used to purchase that device, that will go under the confidential. So you will have 80% of data public, but there will be 20% or 10% of the data that I cannot make public. Like I said, the PO that was used to purchase the device, so you can see exactly.
That's fine. I don't have, I'm not bringing up an issue with that. I just see that there's a lot of stuff all over the place, and I'm trying to get it all at least cohesive, so that we're kind of in sync, right? Because you have a fairly deep view into everything that's going on, Mersha. But when people start wanting to work on things, they're going to need to at least see what's been done and what hasn't been done, and what lives where, and how we want to configure things. So I'm trying to make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's in a way that nobody feels like they're not going to come back. Nobody feels like they're going to come back and not have access to all of the information they need. I mean, what if you decide you don't want to work on this project anymore at some point, and then you're the only person who knows what's been built, and we don't have a view into what's been built, right?
That was my point. That I need to make this somewhere and upload all this.
Right. So I think that's kind of the problem that I'm trying to solve, is to give everybody the freedom to be able to work and still keep it appropriately confidential. So there's probably a couple of people, like you're saying, from different companies that should have that access. So
Laura, to answer your specific question, Venkat is the one who is the owner of the Lab Confidential Slack channel.
Okay. And I'm assuming Paul is on it.
He is, yes. And so is Sridhar. Boris is not.
I get the feeling you're in there, Stephen.
I am in there, yes. I see the list.
Okay, so if you guys want to review it tomorrow morning with the TSC, that might be the right thing to do. I think that's sort of the thing that needs to happen. I guess if you're going to put something in front of the TSC, that would be like reviewing the Lab Confidential Slack channel and seeing who should or shouldn't have access. Do you guys agree with that? Or do you feel like that's the wrong direction to go?
No, that seems fine. That seems a good start point.
All right, so I will send a message to Joe and tell him that that action item, in addition to tracking hardware from Intel and Marvell, is on the action item list, or the conversation list for tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Other thing that I want to bring to this group, and this is something we can decide here. For the server, since probably from this week to next week, I'm going to install an operating system on all the servers. Okay. I was thinking to put Ubuntu 22.04. At least the main server will have also a graphical interface, just in case if you want to open a browser and download something that requires password and it's too hard to do with wget, so you can do that in the lab. Does anybody has something against Ubuntu 20.04 because of something legal stuff? Do you want to use Debian, or I don't know? If not, I'll just go ahead and just install Ubuntu 22.04 everywhere.
I'm fine with that.
Do we know that all of the various DPUs and IPUs are going to support Ubuntu 22.04?
The servers that host the DPU.
Just the servers.
The DPU itself will load whatever image vendor.
No. I mean the servers. I mean the servers that the DPUs are plugged into, right? So is Ubuntu 22.04 the level that is needed to, say, for example, support Mount Evans?
From my experience so far, I have Bluefield and Sun Mount Evans all working on Ubuntu 20.04. I got my Marvel card like yesterday. I haven't plugged it in yet. So from my knowledge, apparently, yes, everything works, but.
Okay.
I can find out what OS we have running on all of our x86 servers in our ARM server. Drew, what OS do you have running on your ARM server?
I have 2204.
You have
Ubuntu.
2204?
Yeah.
Is it starting to see your the Marvell card that you have?
Actually, yeah, I was going to seek some help there because I have the Marvel card. It is detected. It is booting up also. And since last 2-3 days, I'm stuck on a problem where I'm not able to log into the DPU, after it has been booted up. And apparently, it is supposed to offer me a passwordless login, and for that you store the SSH keys in it. But it's not working the way it is supposed to work. And I was wondering if somebody who knows working with the Red Hat, because I'm using the Red Hat Discovery image, the live image, and I feel there might be something I'm missing while I'm configuring the image or when I'm generating it. So yes, to answer your question, yes, the server does detect the DPU. In fact, it's all booted up also, but I'm stuck at the point where I'm not able to log in.
Okay. You're not able to log into the DPU?
Yeah.
Okay. But you're able to log into the ARM server. The ARM server sees the ARM server sees the ARM NIC, the ARM DPU, but you can't log into the ARM DPU itself. And you have an operating system up and running on the DPU?
Yes, it's the Red Hat Discovery live image.
Okay, gotcha. That would be a question for Stephen or somebody in Stephen's org.
Yeah, because I posted a question on the Red Hat. I think they want some subscription before they will start answering technical questions.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Stephen, can you find somebody in your team that can help Drew troubleshoot Red Hat issues on the cards?
Possibly. I guess my question for you, Drew, is I don't know what the Red Hat Discovery image is. So if you could explain that a little bit, that would help.
So basically you create a cluster on the OpenShift, and it generates Discovery image that you can kind of boot up your devices with it. And then it once it boots up, it registers into the cluster. And from there, I have to take it forward, what else we want to do. But that's what it is. It's a OpenShift based image generation.
Okay. So I was under the impression that Paul had done this with the Marvell DPU as part of the POC.
We have Red Hat single node OpenShift running on our DPUs. We don't have Red Hat Discovery.
That's the name of the image, but it is the Red Hat single node cluster is what I'm trying to bring up. Have
you reached out to Anil Alaru?
Yes, Anil has been trying to help. Unfortunately, he doesn't have answer to this. He's also doing Google searches and trying to find out what the problem is, why it is happening. And so am I. But I think somebody from Red Hat may be able to tell that this is what you're missing.
Let me ask Paul Pindell what the base image we have is on the cards, because it may not be Red Hat SNO. I can also send you, did we ever send you our out of box experience document for the cards?
I don't think so.
Well, Anil should have them, but we sent the OOBE to Anil. Granted, you probably have a different rev of the CN 1026s because you work because you're gonna probably have a more. We had hard cards.
Yeah, I had the user guide for the CN that board. What is it called?
The user guide is different than the OOBE that we did. We did an actual full-on OOBE of that card.
Okay. I mean, he also shared some Word document which had the same kind of steps: how to create the cluster, how to generate the image.
It's different than what we built. We actually walked through and figured out what we were having real problems with.
Okay.
Because because bringing up a DPU from every company is different.
Yeah, that's true.
And we can't always tell what issues we're going to have with Red Hat per se versus what issues we're going to have that's card specific.
Yes.
Versus, you know, in the way that they've built they've all got lights out experiences on everything. So that's part of the reason why we built this working group period.
Right.
Is
Right.
because everybody's DPU is going to be brought up differently, and we're trying to get rid of that problem so that people can buy DPUs, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So let me ask Paul for the out-of-box experience.
Okay, and then one last point is that it actually wasn't Red Hat that did any of the work to bring up the Marvell DPU with OpenShift. It was actually Marvell that did that.
Yeah, and yes, Marvell partnered with you guys to some degree, though, as I understand it. But I'm not trying to correct you. I don't know what level of engagement you had there. I know that they were talking to you guys through that process, but I don't know what, because I don't work at either company. I don't know what the back and forth looks like.
Right. Well, it was because they had the hardware, so they did the work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, they certainly asked questions.
Yeah. But I know when we brought up those cards, we put OpenShift on it. We didn't, and I think we might not have used the same process that you're using. And we also had to consult with one of the experts in our team on OpenShift to get the some of the, we were having some issues with MAC addressing or networking, and we had to partner with somebody internally at F5 who had expertise in configuring Red Hat itself in order to get it up and running. And that might be the thing that Dhruv needs, Stephen. I don't know that it may be that he needs somebody that can help configure a Red Hat environment, but I don't know that we weren't a little further along than you are, Dhruv.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it possible for you to facilitate a conversation like that, Stephen?
I can try. Once again, the issue that we run into is, once we start trying to, debug problems, then suddenly the people on the Red Hat side need a subscription to bill against.
Yeah, that's what they're asking before. Like I posted my issue, trying to create the ticket basically, and they're asking if I have subscription.
Hi, Rahul. How are you? Thanks for joining.
Hey, sorry, I was busy with another call.
Oh, it's okay. This is a weird time, apparently, or not a great time. Is that a call that you have consistently?
Bi-weekly. So
Bi-weekly. Okay. I'm going to make this meeting start at 10. I think the ask was to have it start at 10 and have it go from 10 to 11. Is that a time that works better for you, or is that worse?
I'm in India, so that will be.
There's
yeah,
no such thing as better when it comes to a schedule, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So and Rahul, maybe you can answer this. I don't know what level of engagement you have with the Marvell CN1026s. Do you work on that product specifically?
Can you repeat again? Which model?
The Marvell CN1026. I know you work for Marvell, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you work
Yeah.
with you? Do you work on those cards at all?
Yeah. What's the question? Yep.
So Dhruv is having some issues getting Red Hat configured on the card, or are you having trouble getting a login to Red Hat, or?
Yeah, logging into the Red Hat, the live image.
You have Red Hat installed, correct?
Yes, it is installed. It's booted up. It's just the login. I think it's a very small problem, but without that, we can't enter in it and we can't do anything.
Is it specifically that you need a subscription?
Well, subscription was to get help from the Red Hat support team.
Oh, so there's an SLA issue. So you have to pay money to get it configured.
That's right.
Got it. Should we reach out to Chris Murphy, Stephen? Do you think she'd be able to help us with this?
So I think the issue isn't that you need the subscription in order to be able to log in. The issue
Right.
is you need the subscription to open the ticket to get help.
Yeah. Yes.
Right, and being an open source community with a bunch of people from different companies who are all either donating or providing some amount of purchase or support. It's not clear to me how much people want to donate or have purchased from their companies.
Right. I mean, I can ask her.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank
I
you.
don't know that she's going to have a better answer than I do.
Okay. Okay, it just be, if somebody has a line into your services org that could help with this, it would be useful, because that helps kind of all of us long term. Maybe that's something we need to sort of discuss as part of the POC working group, is how do we get support when we start having issues with different software products?
Well, and maybe a broader question that could be brought up between OPI and Red Hat is getting, OPI assigned as a customer, an open source customer. And that could apply across, RHEL and OpenShift potentially.
Oh, we did, yeah, we did, yeah. I think that's the question and I appreciate you asking it that way, Stephen. I think we need to do the same thing for Nginx. Actually, Nginx is open source, so I don't think we would, yeah, from a support perspective, we might have that issue if we end up using Nginx in this POC. And then the same is true for anything that we use externally. Should that be something that also comes up at the TSC?
That might be worth bringing up at the TSC.
Okay. All right. Question, Drew?
No, I think I'll wait to hear from Stephen if he has some contact who can help. Otherwise, we are anyway doing our own ways of finding if we can find some solution to it.
Yeah, and
I'm working with Anil also on that.
I just pinged Paul to ask what the operating system was that the base operating system was that we had in the cards, and what kinds of issues that we had. I can also sync you with Don Flinsbach at F5.
Okay.
And see what his experience was and where he didn't have problems.
Yeah, that would be nice.
We also got a significant amount of help from Boris Glimper when we were trying to bring these up. But that was when we started doing the SCTP stuff.
Okay.
Okay, there's a lot that came out of this today. I'm really glad that everybody joined. This has been super helpful and very informative. Mersha, do you have anything that you need to add?
Yeah, I have two more items about the POC and the lab. So once I got the Mount Evan card, and I will make a POC of IPsec running on Mount Evans. And the idea is to show here two vendors running the same OPI IPsec. Kind of, that will be the goal of the POC, showing, because I did it NVIDIA, but the point of OPI is to actually have multiple vendors supporting the same thing. So I will do some work regarding Mount Evans and IPsec.
Mm-hmm.
And I have another one, but I need to find resources or somebody to partner with to make a POC. I know there is some work with MPLS or something like this in OPI. There is some other groups that runs some networking, something else. Slips my mind right now, but I want to make a POC about that as well. I just need to see how I can split my time. Probably I'll put more accent now on this IPsec thing and see if I can do that networking demo also by myself, or I need somebody's help with it, and then we can deliver maybe sooner. So two POCs, the IPsec Mount Evans and another one that I want to present basically. And no timeline. But it can be added to the list of to-do items.
Okay, you want to add it to the list of to-do items?
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually
Okay, sorry.
working on
Give
the
me a
architect
second. I
Mount
got
Evans that.
distracted by something. I apologize.
No problem.
So I'm having Paul, Drew, I'm having Paul send you that that document, and he's responding to me about the OS that we have running on our x86 servers. Okay, let's add those two action items. Can you restate them? I apologize. I was
Yes.
holding
IPsec demo on Mount Evans.
Okay.
And the goal will be to showcase same exact thing running on two different vendors. So probably when I'll do that, I will also bring back the NVIDIA demo and show that, hey, look, the same OPI script runs on both. That's the goal. Now, if I achieve it, that's a different story. So that's one. And second one, OPI had a group that's working on, I think, NPLSs or some segment routing. Like I said, it slips my mind now which one is a networking protocol they were working on, the use case. So I want to do a POC about that one too.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of this one. Bear with me, Marcia, and everybody else. And what was the second one?
It's, like I said, I think it's MPLS. I don't know if somebody can correct me or remind me.
MPLS on.
I saw there is an OPI group that works on some networking technology, and I believe that networking technology is MPLS. So I would like to do a POC about it and showing it actually running. But I need to, that's in like, let's say, research phase. I need to see on what DPU it's supported, who to partner with.
Got it.
I want to do it, but I just don't have any idea about, let's say,
So it
anything
sounds
at
like
this time.
you need some
I'm familiar with the technology that is there, but when all DPU works and so on, I need to do the research. So that is in like pre-design phase.
I need to find out. OPI. Right. Okay, Marcia. Does anybody have any other questions? Going once, going twice. All right, I'm gonna create a summary of our meeting notes today. I'll put them on the OPI wiki and send them out to everybody. And I will also send Joe White and ask for content to show up at the TSC tomorrow morning. And then Drew, I'll try and sync you with Don Flinsbach, and and Paul Pindell is going to send you our sort of get started doc, or our out-of-box experience doc. So in case you're running into anything that we've run into, you'll at least have some information that you can ask us about, okay?
Right, yeah, thank you.
We'd like to update it and make it publishable, but we only have so many hours in the day, so.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you guys. I will talk to all of you, or most of you, I hope, next week.
Yep,
All right, take care, everybody. Thanks for your time. Bye.
bye-bye.